friends, and welcome back. We are back here playing more Snacktorio. I think you know what Snacktorio is by now, so we're not going to even go over it. It's a factory builder automation game. Let's dive in. We are going to feed some monsters today. We have just completed 2-1. We are on to 2-2. What we learned last time is that some ingredients expire, and that can be problematic, while other ingredients need more time to do the percolation, like bread needs to rise. So what are we going to learn today? Let's see here. We are going to need to learn new things. All right. So, melange. Okay, that's something to learn about. We have some blocks to get started with, but I need to get our way up to the top here and figure out what we are missing. Okay, more onion, more tomato. We've got sand. We've got melange. What is melange? Okay, let's take a look at this. Well, it's found in deserts, so I think we have a reference back to Dune here. Let's see what we can learn about our ingredients list. Melange can be found near sand, and melange deposits extracted with a miner. Okay, wonderful. So I'm sure that's going to be important. We're going to have to mine that. Let's take a look at our map real quick. Our beast is all the way down at the bottom here. Looking over here, we've got some garlic. We have some more garlic. Hopefully one of these is shrooms. It is indeed shrooms. We got oil, and we have some coal. All the things we normally need to know and love are all around here. Let's go to photo mode real quick and see if we can't find our Witchland star. We are going to get a bonus Witchland star somewhere in here. All the way down here. Here's our beastie. Over here is some oil. There is our Witchland star. We're going to have to get through that. That needs power connected somehow, and this looks like the power line that we're going to have to connect it with. All right, here we are at our beastie. What do you want? Let's see here. Pa am tomket. Let's see here. Delicious, simple enough. Bread is the hard part. We know how to make bread. We did that last time. Okay. Let's take a look here real quick. Oh, we're going to need 3 different recipes. That's going to be problematic. This is made, so we make bread first. We let it rise. We bake it. And then we need tomato, garlic, and salt to be able to serve. So let's see here. This is, bruschetta is going to come this way from something over here. I assume that this is where we're going to bring that bread from. Let's see here. This is pan am tumket. Needs to go through this way. Can we go into photo mode and just see real quick? Bread needs to go into this door. So all of these doors are locked. So we basically need to make bread in here. It's kind of leading us through the directions here. Bread dough goes there. Bone flour goes here. So we need to make the bone flour somewhere. Is there another void that's easily accessible here? I see this void is easily accessible. So maybe this is where we need to be making our bread flour. And you've left a garlic for us around here. Okay, so easy enough, right? We'll use this void to make our bread flour. We'll put the, bone flour, put the bone flour through here, and we will make our bread dough over this way. Yeah, this could work for us real easily. Now, I believe it's going to want us to bring over snake eggs. And that was a problem in the past, right? Because we need to bring them in from somewhere. So we're going to have to figure out how that's going to work for us. So there's a big deposit of coal right up here, and we can start using that to our advantage. We need to tunnel out some space so that we can do our normal power setup that we do literally every time at this point. So we're going to tunnel all of this space out, and then we're going to set that up. Again, you'll probably have seen that 3 or 4 times. If not, I will give you the overview in just a boop. All right, our basic power production is now up and online. The one thing we are going to do is the thing that we have started doing recently, which is making sure that we have a display on here so that we can see exactly how much power is being created. We expect 48 and 6 is being consumed. That's just for the drills alone. From here, we can run our power over into the main line. That's updating now to 7 being used. Okay. I don't really know where the power for all of this iron is coming from. That's going to have to be a thing that we're going to have to worry about, I assume. Let's go to photo mode and see if we can't figure that out real quick. Oh yeah, there's just one generator powering this drill for the iron ore. You know, what we should probably do here is go and use that iron ore for some of this void stuff that we're dealing with. I will note here that I did update this from making our ladders to making platforms because I just thought that would be a useful thing to do. We can, of course, upgrade this a little bit here by adding more of our power. So let's add another furnace there. we will put a splitter in right here. Let's see here. Where is our splitter? There we go. And now we should be able to then put this here. And let's go ahead and break this so that our power goes up here. This is just going to give us a little more power that we can eke out of this production facility. There we go. Okay, great. So that's going to double our power. Just gives us a little bit more here. We just need to make sure that this nose split. All right. So over here, we should probably set up a little bit more iron production. This is what we learned last time, right? Is that it's really useful to do our iron production to mix that with the void, because it's never ever going to be anything other than wasted, right? The iron, once we're doing our maximum production here, just really doesn't matter. So let's go ahead and grab up a little bit more iron. We're going to do 2 more of those. Let's come over with our pipes like this. Let's make sure that our pipes know to go the right direction. And let's make sure that we have power connected. Okay, so now we're tripling the amount of iron here. We are going to want to split that off from this pipe. So again, we can do splitters here. Let's see here. Where is our splitter? I really wish we could have 2 favorites instead of just 1 favorite, but this will do nicely. Okay. And we're going to come over this way. All right, onto our void pump. So over here, we are going to need a couple of void pumps. We need this void pump. Let's do this. And actually, you know what we're going to really need is probably going to be 3 of those, because we want to have ingredients going down into them. So we want to make void stuff with these, and then we want the extra to go up and out. So this is going to come down and in. We are going to need to put a splitter in here. Let's put our splitter there. We're doing the same routing that we normally do here. All right. And now we're going to bring our fluid pipes up, because we need to start producing out of these some void that can be used. And our matter manipulator is going to be the key to this, because the basic matter manipulator, if you put nothing in it, will indeed create our void stuff. What is it? Void sludge, I believe it's called. And void sludge is the useful product for us here. So matter manipulator. There we go here. This will start getting void in as soon as we run our power over. Let's run our power over from this section. And this can actually go right down here into this, just like that. And I believe we might end up having multiple matter manipulators here, but let's break this one to start. And make sure that our power cables still connect. Okay, great. Wonderful. All right, so power's going in there. Let's make sure power goes in here. These should start pumping fluid out. No power to work. Oh, right, because we still have to do something like this, right? We still have to connect them up. Okay, so all 3 of those will run off of that. These should now be producing our void fluid, and that's going to come up here. And this is going to make our void sludge for us. So void sludge. It doesn't matter if we set a recipe or not, right? Because we still want this to come back out. There's our void sludge. This needs to go down. And then this is going to start going into here. That's going to make all of these void pumps go all that much more faster. In fact, they probably will be going fast enough that we don't really need to have 3 of them. We probably can get away with just 1 of them at this point. The real way to check that is we can go ahead and put in a pipe on here. There we go. So yeah, we're getting 6 per second. That's more than we need. Maybe I'll go ahead and break these real fast and see how we're doing. 2 per second. And that seems to be pumping more than 2 per second. So I think what we're actually doing is getting exactly what we were supposed to be getting here, because these new pumps that we've got are much more faster and efficient. Yeah, it only says 2 per second. I don't think that's right. I think that's completely wrong. All right. So here we need to do some other voodoo here. All of these items that we are pumping, we're going to put some of them into this to be able to get our platforms. But you know what? We're pretty much good on platforms at this point. I think we can turn that off and instead send all of our items up. And then those items we can use to start making our other 2 ingredients that we need to make. So we're going to do, let's say, 1 here, matter manipulator, and another here. Great. In this case, we need to make those snake eggs again. And we learned previously that these snake eggs can go bad. So this is going to be a little tricky for us, right? Because what we had learned before is that we do need to send our bone flour this way, but we want our snake eggs actually to come in as well. So I'm gonna have to figure out how we're gonna get bone flour in while still allowing snake eggs. I think we might have to see whether or not these doors reopen or not when you're sending a different ingredient. So let's just start with the bone flour and see where we land. Bone flour, for simplicity's sake, let's go down with you. And we'll go into this pipe. And let's tell you, go down with that. All right. And then we're going to put our void into here, but we're not going to put our void into there until we're getting ingredients in. So to start, let's do that. And we are only ever going to grind these. So let's go ahead and put in our grinder, just like that. Change the direction. And this will start making our lich bones so that we can make bone flour as soon as we connect up our fluid pipe. All right, fluid pipe is in, lich bones are being produced. There we go, bones come out. Those should then go into the grinder. They are, that gives us our bone flour, and then that should go down and this way. And then we just need to run this into our new pipe network here and here. That connects up. Okay, so that's working well for us. Let's then see what happens when this opens, because again, the real problem we're dealing with here is that we need to be able to make that dough. Let's see here. Oh, we don't need eggs for this dough. That's why, because we just use dust. So we also need to send dust through this pipe. So maybe what we do to get dust is this says we can make dust by literally crushing any ingredient that we're not using. So we can actually do that and run it into our main bus here. So let's go ahead and tunnel out just a little bit of area. And again, these are garbage ingredients. I really think that this is one thing that I think I wouldn't have chosen to do with this game, is that you can use non-food items to make food. And that's a little weird to me. So let's split those. And just this is going to be our crusher, our grinder. And the grinder we will use to be able to make our dough. Or our dust. Yeah. Just like this. Into this. And that goes in there. All right. So all of this is going this way. Now we are going to need to remember that we are using a main bus. So we do want to use a sorter. Our sorter is going to be used to go up and around all of this mess and tunnel out. There we go. Into our main bus here. And back down. Great, so that's just going to be a loop around here. So splitting into here. Oh, no power. No power. Easily fixed power. All right, so dust is coming out. Dust will go this way. We want to tell dust to go up whenever it comes in. Our catch-all is going to be here, but we still need that dust before we can set that catch-all. Momentarily, here we go. There's our dust, right? Dust. Dust goes up and out and around. Everything else goes right into this system. Perfect. And so these are all going to come in here. So we get that, we get this, we get that. Door is open. That's what we like to see. Here, we can start installing our new pumps. So let's put in our water pump. Let's see here. This one, this is still a void pump. So it can indeed use void stuff if we have it. We don't have it though, so we're not going to worry about that. The gray background means we can only build right here. So let's break this one. We're going to bring our water pipe up, and then we are going to make sure that we have a mixer right here. Let's see here. Mixer is the green one, and then we need to change the direction. Perfect. Okay, so this is coming in. Dust is coming in. We need to tell it a recipe. We want bread dough. What's this other recipe? Tomato paste. We've made that before. Okay, so we're just waiting on that. And then our output is going to go right over here into this system once we have our dough. Let us not forget to cook up our power here. There we go. All right, dough is coming in. I believe this should be the right recipe for this, but is it just a second too late? Let's see here. Risen dough. What do you actually want? I believe this might want bread dough that isn't risen. So that means we actually need to move this over by a few pixels. Let me do that real quick. All right, that did indeed take the cake for us here, and now our dough is ready to rise. Let's see what the next gate is going to expect of us. This is going to be cooked bread. So what have we got here? An oven. I don't know why the oven is all the way over here. That seems like really far away when we could just have our oven like right here, and there's no other way to connect it. This is just an output from the oven. I suspect something else weird is going on here that we are going to need to deal with. So let's go ahead and grab up some shrooms because we are running real short on imps. We're going to need to ferment a few more here momentarily. So we're going to get up to 10. There we go. All right, so yeah, let's go against the wisdom of what is already set up here. I'm sure there's a method to their madness, but I'm not going to worry about that real quick. Let's put in this into our oven. Let's make sure we're inputting there. Let's make sure our power cable is connected. This will automatically cook that into bread, and then all we have to do is pull that out this way, and then that should go into our system here. At least I'm hoping that will work to make our bread. Let's see how that is doing. You can't cook this. Why are you getting the wrong ingredient? I think dust was coming through previously for some reason, so that's not a big deal. We can grab this burnt nonsense out of here, and we'll just throw this away along with our other garbage. All right, bread is coming in here, and I guess this is where it wants us to make our last little bit of this. So what's the recipe? We need to add tomato and garlic. So those need to be brought in along with salt. Let's see here. Where can we bring those from? This is getting a little tricky because now we need to mine up some salt and make sure that that's going in. Let's go ahead and look at our map. Where do we have salt here? I think this is going to be the cleanest way that we can get salt in. There's some over here. It doesn't really matter, but we should be able to go either this way and down, or yeah, maybe this way and down is the way that we bring our salt in. Although usually, you know how I like to do, I like to have our main bus be all in the same direction here. So that might be the way that we handle this. Let's go up to the salt. And you know what we might do is we might go ahead and make up those extra imps right now because we're down to 9. So we should probably do that. Here's our salt over here. Let's dig our way to it. I'm going to set up a couple of miners. We'll be back in a second. All right, before we connect up our salt, let's start getting ready to set our bus up. So I'm going to go ahead and do this and turn our catch-all into down for now. Now, these sorters are free, so there's no reason we shouldn't be using them liberally every chance we get. In this case, we're also going to make that our catch-all. This is going to make it so much easier for us when we need to start setting things up. So like here, we can go ahead and do something similar here. Let's put this here. And this time we're going to tell this that we only want to make sure that bone flour and I think dust are going in this way. So let's go ahead and make sure that, and then the rest of this will go into our main bus. So there is our bone flour, just like that. We just need to wait for some dust to show up in here. All right, before we do anything else, let's deal with the fact that we are out of our shrooms, out of our imps. We need to do some fermentation. For that, we are going to need a little bit of water to bring you into here. Let's give you a recipe of imps. Let's make sure that we've got 10 of these and 10 salt. There we go. And this will slowly make those up for us. There we go. Actually, pretty rapidly make those up for us. That'll give us another 50 here momentarily. And then the rest of this should be doing its thing. Now, this is another opportunity where we probably need a splitter, and that means we need to move things over just a little bit here. So let's go ahead and move our oven over. That might be why they had our oven moved over in the first place, honestly, now that I think about it. Let's put in a splitter here. Yeah, there we go. Excuse me, a sorter here. And we're going to do something like this, where this goes up, this goes this way, and then we always go down for right now. So let's see here. Our catch-all should probably be down, but what we really want to make sure is that the dough is going up. Do we have risen dough? We do. Let's filter this to go up. Let's make our catch-all going down. Great. Okay. So are you doing the thing? We're still waiting on our dust to catch up. That should be momentarily here. Let's make sure dust goes this way. Salt, we're going to go up with you. In fact, we're going to catch all up with you, and we're going to bring you back down and into our bus right here. There we go. So we're basically just looping around. So we're bringing our salt over. It's running through this. Our salt comes in here. It gets sorted into the catch-all. And that just goes with our other ingredients down and in this direction. Oh, and our bread is falling out. Okay. So with that going, what we really need to do now is bring in our tomato and our garlic. Now, the garlic is a problem because this is a very narrow pipe. So we need to find a way to grow garlic such that it's not going to ruin everything else. So garlic, we can go ahead and put right up here. We can put a single harvester in place, just like that. This is going to need power from our main power supply. Bring that into place here. And it looks like we have not connected our power up here. So let's see if we can't bring this into this line. We can. It's a little woozy and wobbly, but it's definitely working for us. And now that's going to harvest our garlic for us. That needs to go into the ingredients with the others. What other ingredients are we going to need? We need tomato is the other one. Well, we can certainly grow that as well, but we're going to grow it in a different spot because of exactly what we just discussed. So let's go and put maybe here. Let's put it here. Why not? And this will be tomato. There we go. We are going to copy our harvester. There we go. This is going to get power. We can just go over with this for now. It's going to be fine. And then that is going to come into our bus. Let's do our bus this way. You need to know, always go left. Real heroes, always go left. And now it's just a question of putting this together in the Chef-O-Matic, I believe. Yep, and yep. So all of these are coming in. And Chef-O-Matic can go right here. Why not, right? There's the right one. Okay, great. And then this just needs to know, like, garlic comes in the top. And these come in this side. Make sure that we have the recipe. And you should have everything now. You're making it. You're happy. You can come out this direction with it. That's going to go in here. That will then continue out this way. We should probably go ahead and put a sorter in because I worry what is coming. This, we are going to say catch all, go down. Here that comes, and then we just need to route this all the way back down to our beastie. And that door is already open for some reason, so we don't have to worry about that. Come with me right to here. I don't know why your power lines are here. That worries me. But yeah, no problem. We're going to put you here. We're going to do our delivery system. And then food goes to the delivery cannon. And that should, I think, give you what you want. All right, we seem content with that. Second course, we need 10 bruschetta per minute. All right, some more bread-based dishes. The hallowed ground of the old factories prevent us from piping liquids in and out, so we'll have to make the pesto there too. That's less than great. Oh, if you haven't, yeah, we're doing catch-all. We already know how to do that. Okay, great. So this is bruschetta coming the other direction. And what do we need to make that? Bruschetta is dough, bread. Okay, so we're going to split our bread. This is where our melange comes in, mixing with tomatoes to make tomato paste. Maybe we do that up top. But we are going to need to make our pesto down below. Because we need to be able to bring in some fluids. Let's go ahead and scope this out real quick and get a better feel for how much room we have for our logistics. At this point, honestly, the hardest part of this game has been figuring out how we can route our various logistics around. Yeah, so bruschetta wants to go in here. Ideally, that means that we take all of our finished ingredients and start using them over here. Let's see here what we can do about that. All right, so the first thing we need to do here is to start doubling up our production of everything because that's going to be a problem for us. This system that we'd set up as well, now I understand why they wanted the oven to be all the way over here, is because we want to run it down and back and down and back. And that means we need to start dealing with our sorter to be able to deal with all of these ingredients. This area here is going to be probably our bottleneck and the biggest mess we are going to have, just because these doors have to stay open as a result of having those specific ingredients in mind. So let's run all the way back and start doubling up on our production of these items here. So specifically, we need to double our bone production. And we are also going to need to, well, I think we have enough dust production, maybe. Maybe we need to increase this as well, though. So let's go down here and take a look. Yeah, we could probably use a little bit. Well, this is 4 items per minute, and we're only using 2 items per minute right now. So maybe that's not right. Let's sort this out real fast, and we'll be back in a second. So something weird is definitely happening here. We want to grind these into dust, but it's saying the iron can't be ground for some reason. So we are going to try and use coal and see if that fixes it, and send all of our iron to the right instead. So let's see here. Let's see if this works. Yeah, you're perfectly happy to grind that into dust. I don't know why the iron was freaking this out so much, but the iron should now be giving us the production that we need here to make our bones. We just need to split this up a little bit, which means we do need to move all of this over just a little bit as well. Let's refactor this real fast. And as we're building this, I'm planning that basically I'm going to assume that this is almost certainly going to end up being a triple ingredient as well. So we're just going to build this out for that, even though we're not going to send any ingredients in for that yet. All right, so we encountered our melange early on, so let's go ahead and set up a drill for this. We are going to make sure that our power can come over to it, so we're going to come this way with our power, all the way through all of this. This is one of those areas where we can't quite fit it all on the screen, so we're just going to make a mess of things instead. How about you come this way with me? And then let's just go clean this up real fast. Perfect. Okay, great. So power is now getting to that drill for our melange. Let's bring this up and over. I don't know why that's behind everything, but we're not going to worry about it. Melange comes this way and then down and into the system. All right, so this took me a little while to sort through here. What I ended up having to do is route our, what is this new thing called? Melange, all the way through basically the entire of the map. So it goes down through here, and now it bounces through here to come into this section. And then we're just going around our mixer so that the bread dough is being produced here just in time to keep this door open. But then it comes up and around into this system. And now we're just catching it over here so that we can make our other ingredients. Now, it looks like I broke something, and that's kind of deliberate right now because we do want to make sure that we can split our bread off. So I've got my splitter here, so I can do bread left and right, and this should then start cooking up the bread in the oven, and then half is going to go one way, half is going to go the other way. Now for the second dish, this is where it gets interesting. We need to grow some tomatoes, and let's maybe put those like right over here, and then we can also do our pesto over here. So we've got all this coal here. There's no reason that we can't just go ahead and throw down. Let's do some dirt, like right, I don't know, like right here. And then put tomatoes on that. And again, we're getting a little claustrophobic here. I don't love this, but it will work for our purposes. We probably are gonna have to refactor this. I just wish we had a lot more space. The only way to get that is if we dig down. All right, so tomatoes are coming up. These would then go in with half of the melange. The other half of the melange, we are going to grow parsley to make pesto. So for that, we are going to need parsley. Let's go ahead and do another one of those right here. And this one we will put here. There we go. Copy, paste. Oh, but we can't. Oh, we can dig that block out. I was a little worried for a second. All right, so that's going to come up there. And these will need power, of course. Perfect. All right, so these are going to come in, this is going to come in, and then we need to start mixing all of this stuff up. So let's give ourselves a little bit more space to mix these various ingredients. I guess we could go down with it. There's no reason that we couldn't start using this space because we're not using it for anything else. All right, let's get this cleaned up. So we just need to make these 2 ingredients. So let's come here-ish, because we need to split this into 2 different ingredients. And I think the easiest way to do that is going to be with a splitter, but we need to stay far enough away from this splitter that we don't collide. So let's do here. This, we will do our physical ingredients. I guess we're going to need our mixer for that. Let's just double check that that is in the mixer. We have looked at many times. Yeah, that's going to make our tomato paste. And then we'll put a blender down below. We'll do that right here. There's the blender. Okay, and now this is where we start sorting our ingredients. We're going to want to do something like this. We use a sorter for this. We're going to make sure that this goes in here, this goes here, but these stay in the right direction. That goes there. That goes there. This goes down. That goes there. Okay. Clean up our garbage. And mixer, make sure that we're getting the right recipe. Tomato paste here. And then again, up. And this goes actually down and up. And then this goes down. All right. This will go in the blender. Give it the recipe. It's making that. Wonderful. So this all needs power. We can run this power cable in real easy. Let's go like right off here. That's working for us. Okay, so tomato paste, pesto, and then this is going to come into something that's going to go over here. I guess this is going to be a chef-o-matic. Yeah, chef-o-matic. Great. Put you in here. That way. You in here, that way. Some of the bread will now go down, and then all this is missing here is some fluid pipes. Tell you what you need. Bruschetta. Great. And you should be getting in everything you need. What are you missing? Bread, tomato paste, pesto. Yeah, that should be everything. The only thing you're missing is power. There you go. Okay, now you're happy. Let's run this back into this pipe there. Okay, and that should then work because now we can feed this back into this system. This, we need to make sure that we tell it that cooked bread goes right. And we're also going to tell it that whenever the bruschetta comes in, that that also goes right. Okay. This goes here. Now, I think maybe down becomes our catch-all. That should be easy enough. This one, we want to make sure bread and salt are only going that way. And then we need to run our pipes all the way down this way because our bruschetta is going to open this door for us. So we probably should grab one bruschetta up as it comes in from this system. Okay, we'll grab that up. We're going to put it there. We're going to say, come down with us. And then this should just go into here, right? Like we could just, boop. There we go. Okay, that's open. And now we are going to another one of these. Put that there. And then our food delivery will come here. Okay, so there's bruschetta coming in. Although we have something backed up here with our previous recipe. I think we know why that is. It's because all of this is still backed up a little bit. So this is coming in here. This should be coming through here now. Yeah, this is the first time that it's actually getting back out here. And now this will be going down and out. All right, so all of these are now working. Okay, so our second dish is done. Let's see here. Oh, you're not going to give us the third dish until this one catches back up. Why do these green things keep showing up? If it becomes a green thing when it shoots into his mouth, it's going to be weird. Yeah, we're still at 6 of 10. So there's clearly something janky going on with the logistics splitting here. You're seeing we're at 12 of 10 for this one ingredient, even though I was saying it should be splitting evenly. All right, so we had a couple of issues with our multiplexing that I've just sorted out. One here we're still struggling with is that we're not quite being able to get enough iron in here. I don't know why iron is bottlenecked, but this top matter manipulator just seems to continuously not have enough iron. So maybe we just top it up for now, just so that that starts to stay topped up. But I'm producing 4 pieces of iron at this point, so that should be enough. I'm not sure why. The other thing we forgot to do is we need to multiplex our mixers. So I've got that tripled now, so we do have 3 of those. And then all the way over here into our oven setup, we are now able to do, I think if we want, another set of ovens. So we can do that. Let's just make sure that these are going in the right direction so that all of this is working the way that we want. There we go. And then this can go this way and make sure that these always go down. All right, so all of this should now be properly multiplexing once we tell it a little bit of dough can go up. And now that should then be splitting properly, and we should be able to keep up with both of these. And it looks like our timers are now not resetting, so hopefully that did the trick. All right, so all of those upgrades seem to have done the trick, and now I believe we're producing more than the beast needs, which is lovely. We are just gonna have to keep an eye on this because, again, it doesn't seem to be working to exactly the right amount as we would expect here. One more course, a Rotten John, 10 per minute, another bread-based dish. We're gonna need some rotten eggs, so you'll need to make snake eggs and intentionally let them rot. All right, how do we make this thing? Bread we can make. We can increase our production of bread, or at this point, maybe we are right on the money for bread. But I keep seeing that waver. We might want to make just a little bit more somehow. All right, take eggs, 30 seconds to get rotten eggs, good enough. And then slime balls into slime mints. All right, and onions. Okay, you know what? I think what we can probably do is, I think we have another void up here. If we have access to that void, I might just set up an entirely separate production for this entire thing up there, because I'm just really worried that the bread over here is going to be the problem. Yeah. So look at all the space that we've got here. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's set this up for an entirely isolated production of just that one recipe. And we're not going to tie it into the main line because, yeah, I'm just done with fighting with that particular aspect. All right, this took some doing to figure out because I made a fundamental flaw in my logic when I was thinking through this. So I did use this other void pool, like I mentioned, to produce our other two ingredients. We're producing our snake eggs here, and we are producing our slime here. The slime gets ground into our slime goo, and the snakes go through this long, winding path to become spoiled to be able to make this recipe here. And we just need to say that goes down. So the Rotten John will go down. Now, the place where I was making the mistake here is I can't make bread up here because I don't have access to water. And you can't route water past this spot. Like, it doesn't allow me to put water pipes out of the factory. Actually, it's not that spot. It's this spot here. Yeah. So I fundamentally can't remove any water from this location, and that means I can't make bread outside of the space where I'm already making bread. So that's a huge problem. So instead, yeah, the sandwiches are going to get made up here in this location. And yeah, they're being assembled because I'm splitting my bread at this point to go up and to the left. So it goes to the left to be able to make that first recipe that we were making. Some of it's getting pulled off before it even gets there here to make the second recipe that we were making. And then, of course, this last sandwich recipe is coming down and going this way. And now we just need to carry this around with us so that we can route it through all the rest of these logistics. That's going to go through the catch-all there. That should also go down here. And then that should end up going right into this system here. So let's go ahead and drop these extra sandwiches in here. And those will get sorted down and out. And then hopefully the rest of the sandwiches will catch up here momentarily. Let's see here. Are those coming down yet? I believe we're seeing them start to come down. Okay, great. So that should be everything that we need to complete this. And now we should just have to wait for everything to catch up. And I'm not seeing any of our production dropping because we are overproducing. We're basically doing 5 times the bread here. So we're only supposed to need 3, but for whatever reason, to keep my numbers up, we are having to do multiples. I'm sure there's just something in my system that's got a weird bottleneck, like one pipe that's configured wrong that I haven't found, but I think it should have worked fine with 3. But yeah, this should be doing its job now. We just have to wait for the rest of the sandwiches. All right, that light work of that, yeah, that took me about an hour to sort out all the bits and pieces of that. But the good news is that we did get all of that done. That also means, I believe, that we should be able to access this next area where the Michelin star is. Although, can I even put down platforms here? I cannot. So we're going to try and make a run for it. Oh, we cannot make a run for it. It's all the way up there. Okay, let's see if we can find the other way to get into that location. Oh, we can tunnel through. Okay, let's do that. And then we will get our Michelin star, and then we'll come back to the monster and get our second Michelin star. So I'm going to go diggy hole real fast. Okay, there is our secret Michelin star. I feel pretty good about that. And now we can go all the way back to the monster. And let's clean up our task. There we go. Michelin star achieved. Well, friends, I have to say this one was a little bit frustrating. I don't feel like the numbers really worked out for me the way that I thought that it did. We had some bottlenecks that I wasn't able to actually properly resolve, and things just didn't work out quite the way I wanted to. But hey, I still had a lot of fun doing it, and sometimes that's just the way it goes with some of this factory production stuff. It's honestly the same thing as we see in Satisfactory, where you're trying to do the water pumps, and then the water sloshing happens, and you don't have enough water to keep your coal generators going. We've all been there. We've all done that. We've seen it happen, and I figured that's the same thing that kind of happened here. We just had some weird bottlenecks we didn't ever quite resolve. But I feel like now that we understand what we're doing and now we know where to double check for those bottlenecks, next episode will be much, much better. Hey, if you like what we're doing, please do leave a thumbs up on the video. I really do appreciate it. It helps the channel grow, helps get it out to other people. If you haven't subscribed yet already, please consider subscribing. We play a lot of building games on here. We do Snacktorio, we do Minecraft, we do Satisfactory, we do all sorts of things here. And we would love to see you come back for more of this great content. And if we could do something better, if you notice something that I did wrong, please do leave me a comment or just stop by and say hello. We certainly appreciate it. For now, we're going to call that the end of the episode. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you back here next time. Bye, friends.